Right, the first poem I've got to read is from Gordon Thompson, who asked me to read a poem by Thomas Hardy. So a sort of anti-Valentine, really, poem. I said to love. I said to love, it is not now as in old days, when men adored thee and thy ways, all else above. Named thee the boy, the bright one who spread a heaven beneath the sun, I said to love. I said to him, we now know more of thee than then. We were but weak in judgment when, with hearts abrim, we clamoured thee that thou wouldst please inflict on us thine agonies, I said to him. I said to love, thou art not young, thou art not fair, no elfin darts, no cherub air, nor swan, nor dove are thine, but features pitiless and iron daggers of distress, I said to love. Depart then, love, man's race shall perish. Threatenest thou without thy kindling, coupling vows, the age to come, the man of now know nothing of? We fear not such a threat from thee, we are too old in apathy. Mankind shall cease, so let it be, I said to love. That was Thomas Hardy. And now a poem by Joe Sanders, from Joe Sanders, A Route Through My Mind. After the effect of fog and snow seen through a ruined Gothic colonnade painted by Louis-Jacques Daguerre. I extinguish the lamp and climb into bed. Long shadows and shapes are consumed by the density of darkness, my eyes sightless, thoughts strangled. I pray for sleep. It is not to be wished for lightly. I shall repeat my nightly walk, retrace my steps over cold stone, my boots striking the ground, the sound sudden and exposed in my watchful ears. Who else listens in the blackness as I advance? Who waits for me behind the pillars? A wind swirls in from the side as my eyes try to pierce the impenetrable dark. I am too fearful to escape into unseen terrain. I awake in a struggle of sweat, but have received a revelation, a way forward. I shall start my work on a new painting, my reoccurring nightmare. I shall view everything through a ruined Gothic colonnade. Other people shall wonder who lurks behind a pillar, who comes towards them out of the distant gloom. They will also admire my vaulted ceiling, the embellishment on the arches. I shall have drifting snow and a fog that floats, blurring the green garden and hills beyond. It will be my finest work. That's from Joe Sanders.
Well, I may be a peasant, but I prefer Joan's poem to Thomas Hardy. So there we go. I think it's a lovely poem. Well done, Joe. Vivian, are you ready to go?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I've got a couple of poems of mine from the anthology, which I just showed you.
Yeah.
There were two themes. The first one is on sport, and the second one is on gardens. Alan will probably know it, and probably a couple of others of you as well. Anyway, first one is called The Beautiful Game. A sport like football, I'll never understand. The offside rule leaves me perplexed. What is it that's so attractive, managing to leave me so vexed? The crowd running onto the pitch like lunatics when a team has won a home game. And the money they earn is horrendous, such is the price of fame. TV programmes often disrupted when a match runs over time. Especially when a good documentary is cut out. It seems such a crime. I know I am in a minority, and I really don't mind that at all. For I'd much rather watch the Blue Planet than folks playing around with a ball. So I always try and avoid it. Not always easy indoors. Maybe I'll go out for coffee instead. At least it's a worthwhile cause. Okay, that's the first one. And the second one is actually quite appropriate at the moment because of being in lockdown, and we're very much in our gardens, well, some of the time when it's not too cold, but gardens have become very important at the moment, and so this is quite appropriate as it happens. I've just called it Garden. Gardens are big, gardens are small. Some people don't have one to look after at all. Some employ gardeners, some do it alone. Mowing the grass where it's overgrown. Flowers to plant and leaves to rake. A never-ending task, no chance of a break. Weeding is endless. There are seeds to sow. Watering regularly to see them grow. Picking the fruit, preparing the veg. Finding the shears for trimming the hedge. It's all looking neat and tidy for sure. Just the shed left to tidy before winter's lure. A garden is hard work to keep looking trim, but very rewarding, a means to be slim. Whatever your garden, whatever the plot, is your patch of green, your own unique spot. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Vivian. Lovely, lovely.
Thank you.
Where can we get hold of your anthology? What's
We'll
the
ask
details?
Alan, but we usually get it. It's lulu.com, isn't it, Alan?
Yeah, it's Lulu. It's the Croydon Poetry Anthology.
Oh yeah. So it's in there. Okay.
Yeah, but we've got about 4, I think now. Looking up it, there's 4 out.
Yeah,
So
that's right. Sorry, I thought you'd got all your poems together in your own anthology. So forgive
No,
me.
unfortunately not. No, it's the Croydon Poetry.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll get it right in a minute.
The library poets, the Croydon Library Poets, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And if you want to know the rules of football, you can ask Ted. His team don't always follow them, but you can ask Ted about the rules of football.
Which team do you support, Ted?
He's gone all quiet on us. He's gone shy.
Oh.
The wonderful Charlton Athletic,
Oh,
There
right.
you go.
okay.
who are doing their best to stay in the Division 1.
Very good. Very good. Anyway, good. Welcome, Ted. Nice to.
Welcome, George.
And who is going under the name of Binch tonight? Because I don't know who would be Binch. Someone's just got no audio on at the moment.
Oh,
So,
it's
Robin.
Robin.
oh, Robin. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Robin. Good evening. Right. So we're going to carry on then. In fact, it is your turn, Robin.
I can hear him.
He's got to unmute. Oh, he's okay now.
Unmuted, but still silent.
Yes. Any luck, Robin? I can see you, but I can't hear you. Yeah, I can hear you a bit. A crackle. Still can't hear you, Robin. Can you? No, there's no volume, I'm afraid. Do you want to fiddle with it and we can come back to you later down the line, Robin? I don't think Robin can hear us, can he?
You could put it on chat.
Yeah, we all make faces at him or wave to him.
Yeah. Robin, we can't hear you.
Can you disconnect your microphone or something like that?
Unplug and plug.
Yeah, just take something out.
Yeah, chat's a good idea.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
moving. I'm poking him on the nose.
There is something on chat.
And I don't think Anne can hear us either, so I don't know
No, I
what's
think
going
she's
on.
putting it out to Robin, I
Oh,
think.
right, okay.
She's saying nobody can hear him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on. Got a note up.
Wait.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Robin,
Oh.
I just,
Yes, we can hear you.
Right, we're all going to mute now and listen to your dulcet tones, okay?
I wouldn't put this up.
Okay,
All right.
right. So you can hear me loud and clear, yes?
Yes.
We
Yes.
can now, yes.
Okay. Couple of sonnets then. Shakespeare sonnet, first of all, sonnet 130, which is a sort of Valentine-y type thing, I think. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet, by heaven, I think my love as rare as any she belied with force compare. And that gave rise to my Valentine's sonnet. And I noticed in the notes that I wrote for this one, it's a sort of reply to the Shakespeare sonnet written from a female perspective. And it's called a Valentine's sonnet simply because I wrote it round about St. Valentine's Day, and it's very romantic. Okay, so I wrote this originally from a male perspective, and then I realized that with a little bit of tweaking, I could make it from the female perspective. So you're getting the female version. My love is like a red, red rose, and that, my friend, is just his nose. His shell-like ears resemble clams, and flabby thighs like giant hams. Of pearly teeth he has no lack, though in his case not white, but black. And eyes that beckon me to bed remind me of my last fried egg. That six-pack figure, steeped in beer, is now more like a crystal sphere. And hair that once grew on his head to ears and nostrils now has fled. His feet, the size of plates tectonic. The nature of our love, platonic. That's it.
Right. Well, neither of them too flattering to the other party, but lovely. Thank you very much. Very enjoyable. Now, let's see who we've got. Jim. Jim. Because I don't think Joanne's going to read. She's just listening in. She's on the list in front of you, but she's just listening.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
You can hear me. Okay.
Yeah, perfectly.
This is a rerun of that that Pentheus one, which I read a couple of weeks ago, but it was the video wasn't running. The Fall of Pentheus. Oh, the preamble to it is I was actually going to a kind of like acting sort of class, and we were all rubbish. We just couldn't do anything. We were all sort of embarrassed, and the man who was running the course was is a man from the Indian subcontinent, I think probably Pakistan or something like that. Spoke flawless English, better than we did, coming from Yorkshire, etc. And he said that we were all. He said he'll show us how to do it. He read out this speech from the Bacchantes, the Fall of Pentheus, and we were actually spellbound by it. And he said afterwards, "You see, I was quite happy to make a prat of myself." And that's what you've got to do to be an actor. You've got to be prepared to make a prat of yourself. So we thought, yes, right. Okay. So this is in honor of that chap, the fall of Pentheus. Pentheus, a king of ancient Greece, prudish and repressed by nature, denies, insults and imprisons a stranger, not knowing this is Dionysius, the god of excessive passion. With the aid of his female worshippers, the Maenads, this god extracts his horrific vengeance. The account is that of a cynical old cattle herder who saw the incident. Remember King Pentheus, intrepid voyeur of Sapphic rites? He certainly had to pay the price, poor fellow, for his denial of a great god Dionysius, and for those delights on offer from the top of a tall tree where the malign deity had set him up. Yes, there was this pervert king, the shame of his entire sex, watching these firm-buttocked beauties play their saucy games, watching their eager fingers and flickering tongues at work. Had he lost his mind? Had unbridled lust made a wretched fellow blind? Could he not see the horrors soon to come? For there was Pentheus having a thoroughly nice time when Dionysius rather unkindly pointed out his presence to the Maenads below. Enraged, they began to shake the phallic tree, seeking to bring to earth this oh so furtive onanist disguised in women's clothes. And then, thanks to the strength given to them by you-know-who, they succeeded. And as he fell, Pentheus, poor wretched fool, knowing his fate, knowing too well the desecration of his being, let out this long beseeching scream, even calling out his mother's name. Didn't save him though. They tore him to pieces. The details of his dismemberment are best glossed over, best not dwelled upon too much, best left unremembered. For who would wish to see the way those naked Maenads dance through the blood-soaked trees? Who would wish to see the way his own mother bore aloft the trophy of his torn-off head? And who would wish to see the way the sunshine glinted on the upper branches where his mournful testes had been so rapturously flung? No, I'll say no more. Let discretion hold my rude and rustic tongue. Let me therefore find some quiet place where I may grieve as best I can and shed my tears for this unhappy man.
Well done.
Yeah, the second poem is slightly different, although I'm not sure it's so different. It's called Finale Time at the Comedy Club. The enchanted domain of Madame Fifi, plump and attractive female comic who, Circe-like, pleases porcine males with a girlish dirty talk of erections, failed or otherwise, and dubious tales of men's disgraceful, self-serving ineptitude with regard to la copulation. She mocks their dreams of a dominatrix equipped with various punitive devices, plus talcum powder, sweet stimulations of riding crops, and restraints of varying severity. With the real bad boys ejected for boorishness and gross indecency, she is safe to wag admonishing finger. "You naughty men are such branleurs," she announced, French for male self-abuser. "But fortunately for you, we women have been endowed with a certain coping strategies." With this, she snatches away her blonde wig and much padded bra to reveal a chest dark and defiantly hirsute. Delirious applause breaks out like a rash.
Oh, I'm so glad you did that one, Jim, because that first one especially, because that was the one that we had problem recording previously. So now we've got it on YouTube recorded. So excellent. Yeah, so I thought you were going to break into listen very carefully. I shall say this only once. Anyway, now where are we? Anne, are you ready?
Yes.
Right.
There is a load on my heart.
Ooh.
The Jews of the Holocaust, the Rohingyas, the Kurds, Syrians, Palestinians, Yemenis, so many others. They suffer, they die for what, not who they are. But we who survive, who avoid persecution, show that we have not changed, we have not learned from the past. We're united. We know we belong together in hating, together in fearing those who are different. Sometimes we tweet abuse, sometimes we attack them, sometimes we kill. In difficult times, it is vital to keep smiling and laughing. But I cry inside every day for those we've rejected to make ourselves feel better. Time. Now is uncharted land. Tiptoe through it carefully without disturbing anything in case it is harmful. Yesterday is mapped, discovered, the mountains measured, bays and promontories named. Going back is easy, taking the atlas to places now known. It is comfortable in yesterday. Tomorrow's an adventure we can look forward to, not comfortable, but exciting. Plans may not be adhered to. Something better may turn up, or something entirely unexpected. Make your plans, the saying goes, and wait to hear God laughs. But today is uncharted. As we travel along it, measuring the landmarks, we tread cat-like, delicately, in case something terrible could spring out to hurt us.
Two wonderful poems, Anne. Thank you very much. Thank you. Certainly make us think, both of those. Thank you. We don't have Jack. Sue, are you ready to go?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Very
Can
good.
you hear me okay?
Yeah, very good.
Great. Because I told Peter I hadn't written anything new, but actually I bought a couple of secondhand books lately and they had little things inside them and it just made me think of a poem. So I've written two poems on that theme. One slightly different, and then there's another one I've got to read, an old one. So it's books, I'm afraid, this not Valentine's this week. The first one's called Velikor, which is one of these made up words, I think, and it's supposed to mean the strange wistfulness of a used bookshop. I must cancel Audible if I can work out how. I like my books to have been read before. Old books with dewy marks. They've lived in someone else's life before they came to mine. They rest upon my bookshelf, overwintering, gaunt, exhausted birds. Some bright, some shabby, some with broken spines. They lean together for the warmth. On dusky nights, in husky voices, some of them sing softly, a cappella, all the old songs. I love that someone's intellect has scrutinized the book I now hold in my hand. And I forgive their scribbled marginalia, the penciled comments, underlinings, their astonished exclamation marks. Maybe I will add some more. Sometimes slipped inside, there'll be a letter, a forgotten sketch, a map, an unaddressed postcard, remnants of another time, another place, passed subtly on. I must cancel Audible if I can work out how. I like my books to have been loved before. So on the back of that, I did another very short one, which is about the same thing, and it's called Marginalia. Different take on it. Old book, you open at a page we both agree upon. Put on a shelf a long time past and left for dead. But here you are, your cover showing signs of age, though everything is there, and more, those penciled words, those underlinings, exclamation marks. I comb your margins carefully to see if I can find myself. And I've got one more, which is an old one, which I bet you've all heard before. And it's a library poem. It's called The Last Days of Rome. A wet London afternoon, the Institute of Classical Studies. I struggle with Sophocles. Old leather, polish, dust, quiet caress of keyboards in the embalming silence. I'm balanced on a ladder high upon the shelves, hunting by the ochre light. I lift an ancient heavy book, but fumbling, lose my grip. It slams the parquet with a dusty roar. 1,000 eyes look up. Tweed jackets bristle. Grey curls tense. Keyboards cease their pecking. Outside, rain stops, shocked. The after silence deafens. Public school patricians frown, adjust their togas, reinforce their purple stripes of privilege. I gather up the wounded book and place it gently on the wrong shelf. It's not the one I wanted anyway. Thank you.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you,
Lovely,
Sue.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Absolute. Yeah. You've got a lot of fans here, I think. Lovely poems. One thing I'm pleased about is we you know, in this little group now, we've got 50-50 men, women representation. And I think that's because I think some of our best poets, I'm not just creeping here, but I think some of our best poets are the women poets, to be honest. So it's a great thing, and that's wonderful. Anyway, I'm going to move on to Alan. Hi, Alan.
Hi there. I've got a couple here. This one's called Without You. Where would I be without you? You hang on my every word. You help me with my past and future and help my memories unfurl. You are there when I need you, predicting all of my faults. My laziness frustrates me and leaves me feeling fraught. Without you, I am helpless. I give you nothing in return. The more I rely on you, the more about me you seem to learn. I can't remember everything. At times I feel such a fool. So thank you for all your help and encouragement, you wonderful Google. And this one is called Emotional Weather, excuse me, Emotional Weather Report. The temperature dropped as two cold fronts approached. Frost glistened, sparkling on their lips. Fog breath plumed as anger fumed. Words stung like shattered glass and burdened the hearts it touched. Emotions churned, temperatures rose. Frost turned to dew, softening and conciliatory. Then a sudden change. Lightning flashed brightly, anger rolled like thunder, ear-splitting and full of fire. Energy spent, the storm receded, and silence reigned. The frost returned, bringing coldness. One weather front warmed with hope, the other darkened with malice. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Alan. Two lovely poems. Very good. Enjoyed those. Yeah, wonderful. We don't have Jane. She's, you know, got some technical problems, but we do have Mohammed. I hope.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Yes. Hello. Yeah. Valentine's Day went the other day. I'll launch straight into 3 pieces. First, a couple of songs or parts of songs, and then a couple of my poems. Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. Something in the way she woos me. I don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in how. Ta-ta-da-la-la. Somewhere in her smile she knows I don't need no other lover. Something in her style that shows me I don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in how. La, 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 la. What if it rained? We didn't care. She said that soon the sun was gone. And she was right. This love of mine, my Valentine. As days and nights would pass me by, I tell myself that I was waiting for a sign. Then he appeared, a love so fine, my Valentine. And I will love her for life, and I will never let a day go by without remembering the reasons why. She makes certain that I can fly, and so I do without a care. I know that someday soon the sun was gonna shine, and she was right, this love of mine, my Valentine. Okay, thank you. I've got a sonnet I wrote for Valentine's Day, That Force Behind Love. Who tells us that it's time to be loving? Is it a force from the ultimate source? All lovers unite with romancing. When? Why? On this Valentine's Day, of course. What is the inspiration for all loves? What helps humans to begin fair course? Some say, through twittering birds in green groves, the breeze carries it in through lovers' doors. Who despairs, saying love's range might be lost, like melting snow on peaks of cliffs or tors? That fear does not deepen the moss. A positive strength brings love to all shores. The most supreme loving intelligence adorns us with love, which is elegance. And yeah, my third and last for this first session is Candle on a Bottle. There's a candle red in a bottle silvery, the glass of it clear, the candle straight, emitting light, drop wax. And what will our life be after its fire keeps burning, till all the light is spent, and the wax of us goes, a little puddle of it, at the base of the bottle of it? What will it be? Ephemeral and short, cut down heat and indifference, the horrors of the airless voids and obstructions, so hot to the touch. The staying red candle with its knobbly sliding wax, the bottle of now gone vinegar, holds it upright, balance my waning dreams. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. You're in good voice as usual. Thank you very much. Enjoyed those.
Oh, thanks very much. Thank you.
Very good. Ruth, are you good to go now?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The first one's about my grandfather, who lived with us during my childhood, and he'd been very badly injured in the 1914-18 war. So he was something of an invalid. So the poem's called The Invalid. My grandfather had a war wound, but no one would tell me what it was. Confined to an armchair, he sat with a blanket across his knees. When I returned from school, a voice from upstairs would summon me to hear yet again tales from the battlefields where he was a bombardier, how he was flung by the ricochet, but would stumble back to reload, how a gypsy looked after the horses and taught him to forage for food. Or else he'd roll call the medicines ranked in order beside his bed, plum-coloured tonics, syrups that gummed the bottle top to its thread. Puffing from his angina, he would recite the dosages for each one. What thinned the blood, what killed the pain, codeine, bisoprolol, warfarin. And the next one's called Night Security Guard. I chew on coffee grounds to stay awake. I know the length of shadows and the steaming of my breath. I pace the block, timing myself till it becomes a kind of game. I listen out for tripped alarms, the sound of breaking glass. I check each door, push, pull, and hope the rattle of the lock will do the trick. They're smart, these thieves, not amateurs. They've got my number, and they know when cameras are down or a consignment is on its way. Why do I do it when the odds are stacked and police come late? Chances are I'll end with acid in my face or in a hospital bed. But it's a funny thing. I get a kick from looking at the distant town, the race of lights on the A1, and more than that, the stars. That's it.
Thank you, Ruth. Very thought-provoking, that last one. Very thought. Well, the first one was beautiful and nostalgic. They went through a lot in the First World War, didn't they? Those poor people.
So
Yeah.
good.
Anyway, we don't have Lorraine, I don't think, but we do have Ted. Hey, Ted.
Lorraine's there.
Yes, we do have Lorraine.
I was enjoying it up until now.
We have got Lorraine, Ted, so we can go to Lorraine.
Okay, mate.
Lorraine, are you there?
She's muted.
No, it isn't. No, can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah.
Right, okay. The first one is that
It's a bit strange, the sound, Lorraine. The sound
Piers
is
Corbyn get off. Yeah. Is it impossible?
not impossible, but needs tweaking if you can. I don't know. Can you turn the volume down, maybe?
I could try to. I go into Zoom's.
Well, give it a go anyway. We'll see how we
No,
get
not
on.
Zoom. I'll have to. Right, hang on. Settings. Audio. Well, I texted my. I can't do it much lower. It's almost minimal.
Okay. Well,
I can't do anything more to it. I've gone into the settings, Zoom settings, and it can't. It's the lowest on my Zoom settings.
All right,
Anyhow,
Lorraine. You
I'll
could
do
maybe
it quickly.
sit back a little bit further, maybe that might help. I don't, because it sounds like a sort of an outer space
Okay.
thing, like a sort of zero.
Not as bad as it used to be.
No. Yeah, try
This
anyway,
is-
Lorraine. Off you go.
All right. This is euphemisms, platitudes, and cliches. Piers Corbyn, what a euphemism you chose. Do you suppose and makes sense to those who died on the railway without their consent? Piers Corbyn, were you trying your best to foment, or torment those who could tell you how time at Arbeit macht frei was really spent? Piers Corbyn, would you have Auschwitz as a platitude? Equating it with vaccine or voluntary choice, confirming your ignorance, base and crude? Piers Corbyn, would you have advocated any infectious disease should run amok amongst kids while you sleep with ease, having warned parents jabs would see them in cemeteries? So, Piers Corbyn, since it's attested that you were arrested for slighting surviving internees, your usual casual, callous, ill-researched breeze, albeit your B and MSc degrees, you felt no alarm, though aware detainees were branded each on one arm. Piers Corbyn, concentration camps didn't offer invites or options. Those with numbers stamped on their limbs were spared no emotions. In the UK, the herd may decline or concede, but odds are your kin ensured you were MMR vaccine free. That's what I think of him. He probably had all the early vaccinations and now he's telling people not to. I'll make the other one later though. So after the break, although I've also got one in the Brixton Bromley Writers anthology as well, but I've read it before, and the more I see it, the more prominent or what it's like today. It's the one about High Command. God, I forget what page it is. No, leave it. Go on then. I'll do it in the next one. I forget what page this one is. So I got a story in here as well, but I won't read that. This is the journeys, the Bromley Writers in Brixton, etc. The journeys. Each year we do one of those.
Okay, Lorraine, it's up to you. But that was a one way of putting these bigots in their place. So it was a very powerful riposte to a very nasty man. So well
Yeah,
done.
I think so too.
Yes,
The
absolutely.
disgrace of the party.
Well,
He
I
is.
can't understand the comparison between Auschwitz and Batsy. It's weird. No.
Yeah.
Onwards.
Now we've got Ted. Now we've got Ted.
Young Edward, isn't it? Okay, babies.
Yeah.
A little medley of those from Eat Your Heart Out, T.S. Eliot, The Wasteland, except for the other way around. Starting with Jack Kelly. From my position beneath the kitchen table, the undercloth tassels fringed my auntie's cotton skirts. I imagined them, clenched fists, biting nails as they screamed, "Jack, help us, there's a mouse loose." I'd tense as his navy boots clobbed up the passage and found me, mouse, under the table. I'd squealed as he rubbed my face with his stubble and offered me the choice from a full bag of rationed sweeties. I'd unwrap each tablet of charcoal, testing each one until I found the sweet. He taunt me with a face mask of rubber, eyeless and painted like punch. He'd place it, then hide it, return it and replace it with coal. He'd excite me, delight me, till the face disappeared, leaving behind a blob on the chair. This would daunt me and haunt me, and I'd run round the house as I thought he did when he looked for me, mouse. But I never found it. Jack returned to the sea, a teaser, a wizard, an uncle to me, and everything I thought a father might be. Gonna drift into him again. Pint, please. Standing in the pub lobby was big for a 3-year-old, waiting for his aunt and uncle. Arrowroot and lemonade was good, but not good enough. I'll have a pint like you. Big boys cry standing in men's shoes, and the long walk home tanged sour, and I vowed never to drink beer again, and vowed again many times. And I leave you with Grandma Copper. All I saw was an old lady, a life peeling away like the paint on the outside privy wall. Her life compressed between the dark corridor and the green scullery door, the zinc bath hanging from the flat-headed nail, the mangle cast iron, its wooden handle too stiff for my small hands to turn. Always sitting, interwoven into the antimacassar and the cushions of her chair, the halo of the mantle bracketing her in gaslight, her grey hair. Just remember a few things, she like it. I remember the words and scurry back clutching my trophies. 1 penny, 2 pennies, 3, if I was very lucky, maybe 4. There. Thank you for listening.
Very good. Is that how you ended up with someone called Penny, Ted?
No.
Anyway, you've got a lot of jokers and characters in your family, so I can see where you're coming from.
Right up, baby. Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
Okay. Peter, have you any gems, please?
Got gems and a couple of old anti-Valentine poems. From medieval Latin. My lady walks with a hawk upon her wrist, and she sends it out to fly to tear small birds from the sky, the coney from her nest. And these trophies hang pendant about her waist, and my heart among the rest.
Right.
Searching through a drawer. Searching through a drawer I had not opened for some time, I find a drift of cards pushed to the back. I had forgotten these husks of our relationship. Love you, miss you, sad, not possible to ring so happy to have spoken, want to be with you always, every minute, want you. all crap. I will not take them to the paper bag to be recycled. So many lies to come back hidden within the paper. I will burn them. Put the ashes in a plastic bag, in a plastic bag, in a plastic bag, bury them, put a stone on top, and forget the place. But now I have this space.
I love that second one, in a plastic bag, in a plastic bag. Wow. It's the wonderful, wonderful image there. Yeah. I like them both, but the second one, I've always liked that poem.
Excellent.
Yeah. I've got this horrible thing on my screen. It's a pop-up and it takes a third of the screen up. It's got worldofrewards.com and I can't get rid of it. So in the interim, I'm going to log off and log on again, and hopefully it won't be there, because I can't see my own image, which is probably doing me a favour. But
No, you're very handsome, George.
Oh, thank you very much. It's Beards United. Beards against the world. Anyway, Mohammed's got into my psyche because I've written a poem that, if I can find it. I'm doing a TED now. Butterfly, that's not the one, that's not the one. I'll find it in a minute, or maybe second half. Locked out in shadow, ruddy dark, butterfly swimming, song. No, I'll come back to that one. Anyway, I'll do a Rupert Brooks poem. He wrote this in 1912, and it's called Song, and it's a very beautiful poem, Song. All suddenly the wind carries soft, and spring is here again, and the hawthorn quickens with buds of green, and my heart with buds of pain. My heart all winter lay so numb, the earth so dead and frore, that I never thought the spring would come, or my heart awake any more. But winter's broken, and the earth has woken, and the small birds cry again, and the hawthorn hedge puts forth its buds, and my heart puts forth its pain. I love that. Beautiful. That's what you call a poet, I think. Well, I'll read this one. I can't find the one I was going to read, but I'll do that in part 2. It's called Butterfly Swimming. This is mine. It seems we move like butterfly swimmers, one moment lunging forward, then pulling back. 1 second, our heads are underwater, the next gulping air, averse to chlorine in the nostrils and throat, yet grateful that our senses function. Lungs continue to bellow in and out. Muscles can still flex, though in the knowledge that survival might be dependent on whether science walks ahead of nature when arms are offered up to gentle nurses who might absorb much of the venom of the imperfect learning from schools of ignorance and fear. So we swim on in the hope that these things work, keeping our solitary heads above water until we step out and dry off. Okay, I'm going to try and sort out my machine now. Yeah, we can all unmute, chat.
Lovely.
So if anyone's, overflowing with poems, they're very welcome. We've got loads of time.
No.
We can go straight to Ted. Do you need to be on early, Ted, rather than
No, I'm all right.
Okay. We can go straight to Robin then.
Right. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Go on, here you are.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. This is first one I'm going to read to you is called Hero's Story. Now, Hero is a character in Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. And for those of you who are not familiar with the play, I'll just give you a quick outline. So she's the daughter of the governor of Messina, so quite well connected. Near the beginning of the play, there's a masked ball at which Don Pedro, a prince, woos Hero on behalf of his friend Claudio. Preparations are made for the marriage, to which the dutiful Hero agrees. Subsequently, Don Pedro and Claudio are duped into believing that Hero has been having an affair and is therefore tainted goods. But instead of quietly calling the wedding off, the pair decide to expose and shame her at the wedding ceremony, which they do quite dramatically. And after a lot of shenanigans, such as you find in Shakespeare, Hero's innocence is established and the marriage finally takes place. The overall impression of Hero in the play is of someone who is manipulated, albeit willingly, by those around her. But I got to wondering what was really going on inside her head. So I wrote the following. As I said, it's called Hero's Story. Of course, I knew him soon as he came in, despite the silly mask. His voice, his walk gave everything away. I was his choice, I thought. I'd be a prince's wife. But no, he wooed me for his sidekick, Claudio. I knew my duty, followed father's will, pretended love, swallowed my bitter pill. It was, all said and done, a decent match, though not a patch on what I'd dreamt and hoped. Come wedding day, he branded me a whore, called me a rotten orange, little shit, shamed me in front of everyone, what's more, and spurned me when I fainted on the floor. It all got sorted in the end, of course. My virtue proved, we two were duly wed. I had a largish dowry after all, and thus he wormed his way into my bed. So, for the present, let him live and breathe. I've got a few choice potions up my sleeve.
Oh, excellent. It's wonderful how we can rewrite history with poetry, isn't it? Or
Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, I'd love you to carry on, Robin, if you've got another one, please.
Yeah, the other one, we've had some snow recently, so I've dug out an old poem that I wrote some time ago. Oh, I see, back in 2010. My goodness, how time flies. So it's called Snow. What can I say that's not been said already? Snowflakes jostle, swirl, dip and eddy, giving substance to the wind while birds keep silence, and icing sugar whiteness hints a purity beyond our mortal reach. In China, though, white is the colour of death. And in this room, lit now from below, existence holds its breath as clock steps echo with measured tread across time's tundra. You're gone, your footprints covered by the cruel snow. What can I say that's been said already? That's it.
Right, it's a very kind of thoughtful poem. Lovely, thank you. Now, Anne, are you free to go? You are muted, but it will sound better if you unmute.
Is Jim next?
Jim, oh, it is Jim. Well done. Yeah, Jim, please. I'm going to give you a new job, Anne. You can be compere. You're better than me. Jim.
Yeah, it's a poem about a woman, working class woman who makes it something of her life. It's called Josephine. As a child, Josephine had this burning, yearning ambition to be a top flight ladies' hairdresser. But she was held back by a cross-dressing coal miner father, by a truck-driving skinhead mother, by a hard-drinking, foul-mouthed car mechanic slob of a kid sister. They mocked and ridiculed her, glued together her scissors, tore the teeth out of her comb, brought home bald friends in order to vex, and generally treated her like an oddball, like a kind of non-person who had delusions that she was somehow better than them. That's how she came to pump iron in order to impress, That's how she turned to steroids to rise above arrest. That's how she came to write her 2 uber bestsellers, Tough as They Come and Count the Hairs on My Chest. As a consequence, her mother trashed a truck to enroll in ballet school. Her father threw away his frocks and took up boxing. Her kid sister gave up drink and tossed her spanners down the drain. And finally, the icing on the cake, Josephine, now the well-muscled and undisputed head of the family, finally became a ladies' hairdresser with letters after her name, and the mother of 3 pink-dressed little girls who were the absolute darlings of the council estate. So, yeah, I'll read the second poem. It's called Who Pays the Ferryman? It's got 2 titles, actually. Who Pays the Ferryman and No Time for a Timex. I'm not well educated, but I'm good company, and my appearance borders on the impressive. My date, naive daughter of a wealthy man, has just finished a sob story that went on a tad too long. I put on a sad face, pat her hand. Yes, I know what you mean, I say languidly. You had the gross misfortune to meet a succession of, dare I say it, losers and time wasters. Her smile is pure gratitude. I convince her that I'm a much sought after special man, the one with impeccable credentials. I never asked, she whispers, what kind of a car you happen to drive. A Bentley, I reply, but it's been repaired, hence the infernal need for taxis and the distressing forgetfulness to bring the necessary credit cards or cash. She examines my expensive borrowed suit, touches my gold-coloured cufflinks. I see you wear a Timex, she murmurs. I glow with an owner's pride. Yes, indeed, it functions beautifully at a depth of more than 30 meters. Oh, well done, she gasps, then makes an excuse to go and powder her nose. I relax, take out a cigarette, strike a match. She does not come back. The unpaid bill stares at me from a plate. A waiter strokes his chin, another starts to laugh. The manager is hovering like a hawk. My smile acquires a texture of fractured glass.
Oh dear. Oh, you had the misfortune to meet someone, didn't they, who wanted a Rolex rather than a Timex, Jim? So that's his life. C'est la vie. Now it's Anne. Hi, Anne.
Hi. England expects is an American's view of the English. Excuse me. Alden Nash. Let us pause to consider the English, who, when they pause to consider themselves, they get all reticently thrilled. Englishmen are distinguished by their traditions and ceremonials, and also by their affection for their colonies and their condescension to their colonials. When foreigners ponder world affairs, why sometimes by doubts they are smitten. But Englishmen know instinctively what the world needs most is whatever is best for Great Britain. English people disclaim sparkle and verve, but speak without reservations of their Anglo-Saxon reserve. After listening to little groups of English ladies and gentlemen at cocktail parties and in hotels and Pullmans of defining Anglo-Saxon reserve, I despair. But I think it consists of assuming that nobody else is there. All good young Englishmen go to Oxford or Cambridge, and they all write and publish books before their graduation. And I often wondered how they did it, until I realized that they have to do it because their genteel accents are so developed that they can no longer understand each other's spoken words, so the written word is their only means of communication. England is the last home of the aristocracy, and the art of protecting the aristocracy from the encroachments of commerce has been raised to quite an art, because in America, a rich butter and egg man is only a rich butter and egg man, or at most an honorary LLD of some hungry university. But in England, why, before he knows it, Sir Benjamin Buttery Bart. Anyhow, I think English people are sweet. We might as well get used to them, because when they slip and fall, they always land on their own or somebody else's.
Thank you, Ed. Wonderful. Thanks. A real character assessment. You got another one for us? Or?
Yes, this one's by Paul Jennings, and it's called Galoshes, and I'm not at all sure I'll be able to read it. But I'll give you a try. I am having a rapprochement with galoshes, and some would say this heralds middle age. Yes, sneering, they would say, does he also wear pince-nez? Oh, Jossers wore galoshes when ladies' hats were cloches. Ah, woolen combinations of this dodderer's next stage. Well, let these people sneer. Just because my feet look bigger for colossal in galoshes, they are dry among the sploshes. A story that won't wash is this notion that galoshes so snug at slushy crossings make a man a sloppy figure. Oh, crossly, and still crosslier, I have bought shoes ever costlier, which still quite new let water through before I've crossed the street. There's nothing manly, I repeat, in always having cold, wet feet. Galoshlessness is foolishness when sharply slants the seat. And I utterly refuse the expression overshoes. To make galoshes posher, I would scorn this feeling. The word galosh is strong, not weak. It comes from kalopos, for cobbler's last, and thus it's classed with hero times antique. Come muse through flush and sleek dry-footed, with me tripso, that I may praise galoshes in a calopoose calypso. When swishing buses splash and the rush hour masses clash, when it's marshy as molasses, how galoshes cut and dash. It makes me quite impassioned when they're dubbed unsmart, old-fashioned, such by the Bosches talked about galoshes. Since the very finest leather is outsmarted altogether by the classy, glossy polish of galoshes in such weather. Come, galoshes, be assertive, drop that air discreet and furtive, and let galosh shops be lavish with designs and shoes that ravish. Men's galoshes black and British, but the ladies' colour skittish, and galoshes could make rings round those silly plastic things which tie up with clumsy strings. Let us all have this rapprochement with galoshes to see what health and happiness.
Right, thank you, Anne. Well, where there's a welly, there's a way. You might profit from watching it on YouTube, because your mic is very directional, and when you move your head a certain direction, we lose the odd words. Which is no, don't be sorry, but I'm just saying it's not your fault, but it's a shame because it's detracts from it, you know. So if you listen on YouTube, you'll see what the problem is, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how I sounded till I saw YouTube, and I thought, oh my God. But anyway, there we go. Here ended the first lesson. Who's next now? It's Sue's got Alan. Alan, good evening, Alan, again.
Hello again.
Right.
So when I worked in advertising, the copywriters, sometimes when they were writing their text for their ads and what have you, if they were struggling for the words, they would use, I don't know how you pronounce it, but Roger's thesaurus. Anyway, we sort of kind of nicknamed it. If anybody couldn't find it, it was, has anybody seen Roger's dinosaur? So this is Roger's Dinosaurus. It all began, arose, commenced with a hot drink, beverage, refreshment. We were sitting outdoors, outside, al fresco. She had a sparkle, a twinkle, a shimmer in her eyes. My heart jumped, missed a beat, leapt, when our gazes met, locked, clasped. We chucked caution to the wind. It felt like love at first sight, immediate, instant. We were drawn, enticed, attracted to each other. I walked, strolled, rushed to her table. We sat, our hands brushed, touched, clasped. We both felt the spark, flash, electricity of something big, huge, enormous. But our thoughts were dashed, broken, destroyed before we started, initiated, embarked. Her husband had no trust, belief, faith in her. She was being watched, observed, spied upon. She told me to leave, go, depart. A non-relationship doomed, condemned, cursed, before it even started, began, initiated, when the private eye, sleuth, detective, in Roger's diner saw us.
Loved it.
And this one's a flash of gold. I don't know where they're from. I don't know where they've been. There's a burble and excitement with a flash of gold rushing through the tree. They are industriously feeding, jumping from branch to twig, feeding off the new bugs in the lichen, dancing their breakfast jig, oblivious to all around them, focused on the job in hand, buffeted by the wind as they find a place to land. A streak of fresh colour after winter's dull grey. Goldfinches feeding in the trees again means spring is on its way. Thank you.
Right, thanks very much, Alan. Lovely, very nice.
Thank you.
Right, puts a whole new spin on the word thesaurus, doesn't it? James on. Mohammed, are you good to go, Mohammed? Yes?
Yes, good to go. Yes.
Right.
Right. Okay. So it was Ash Wednesday. So we're in the Lenten month. T.S. Eliot. First part of Ash Wednesday. Because I do not hope to turn again, because I do not hope, because I do not hope to turn, desiring this man's gift and that man's scope. I no longer strive towards such things. Why should the aged eagle stretch its wings? Why should I mourn the vanished power of the usual rain? Because I do not hope to know again the infirm glory of the positive hour. Because I do not think, because I know I shall not know the one veritable transitory power. Because I cannot drink there where trees flower and springs flow, for there is nothing again. Because I know that time is always time, and place is always and only place. And what is actual only for one time and only for one place. I rejoice that things are as they are, and I renounce the blessed face and renounce the voice because I cannot hope to turn again. Consequently, I rejoice to construct something upon which to rejoice. And pray to God to have mercy upon us. And I pray that I may forget these matters that with myself I too much discuss, too much explain, because I do not hope to turn again. These words answer for what is done, not to be done again. May the judgment not be too heavy upon us. Because these wings are no longer wings to fly, but merely vans to beat the air which is now thoroughly small and dry, smaller and drier than the will. Teach us to care and not to care. Teach us to sit still. Pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Pray for us now and at the hour of our death. Okay. All right. Thank you. Then the next one is mine on the topic of Lent. Starting that month, having a day to keep with the cold fish, having a day for the warm, a Tuesday that starts a holy month, each day has its sanctity. Do I hope to turn to the past mistakes to redress myself? Should I hope to turn back the clock? This month will solve. deliver my epistle with a hopeful gesture, wishing peace on all there. The beast from the sea that ruled could not revert God's laws. God must rule in the heart, the seat of existence. There will be liturgies, a box full of sparks, all set to be released. The kingdom will come, the true one of the Lord. The seas shape shells as always. And thank you. And there was a bit of Bible the last time we were here, a lot of verses. So I'm just going to go launch into Matthew chapter 7, 14 verses. Don't criticize, and you won't be criticized. For others will treat you as you treat them. And why worry about a speck in the eye of a brother when you have a board in your own? Should you say, friend, let me help you get that speck out of your eye when you can't even see because of the board in your own? Hypocrite, first get rid of the board. Then you can see to help your brother. Don't give pearls to swine. They will trample and turn and attack you. Ask and you will be given what you ask for. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened. For everyone who asks receives. Anyone who seeks finds. If only you will knock, the door will open. If a child asks his father for a loaf of bread, will he be given a stone instead? If he asks for fish, will he be given a poisonous snake? Of course not. And if you hard-hearted sinful men know how to give good gifts to your children, won't your Father in heaven even more certainly give good gifts to those who ask him for them? For others, what you want them to do for you. This is the teaching of the laws of Moses in a heaven can be entered only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad, and its gate is wide enough for all the multitudes who choose its easy way. But the gateway to life is small, and the road is narrow, and only a few ever find it.
So most of us are stuffed then.
Thank you for your kindness.
Thank you, Mohammed. I don't know if anyone talked on Radio 4 today about pilgrimages, and apparently in the wealthy used to pay people to do a pilgrimage for them. If they want to shrive their sins, they used to give someone a few bob and say, off you go to Jerusalem, and they would get the forgiveness, for having paid someone else to do the walking. So it's an interesting world, isn't it? Anyway,
it is,
I digress.
Indeed.
Yeah. Lorraine, are you good to go, Lorraine? Part 2?
Yes, I am.
Very
Not
good.
anything technical here. So this is called, you could say, God.
Sorry, Lorraine. That first poem you did, that was about that brother of Jeremy Corbyn, wasn't it? Piers Corbyn. That was about Piers Corbyn, wasn't it? You've gone all quiet. Are you muted?
Yes, it's Paul.
Yeah.
This one is. What's to worry about? It's only a gone somewhat crazy laptop lazy mouse. You're having it easy, no need to growl. Just think of the bloke failing in a full 15 months in what light allows, copying the Bible and true to their monastic vows. Okay. So your mouse has had its day. And it didn't even have to ask you to delete your rant. At least you've squashed in your hand. What you've squashed in your hand is plain, pliable plastic. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, and chlorine. No hint of abusing animals or insect rights. Nothing cannibalistic. no looting like monks, so cruel and mean, filching oak gall wasps' eggs for their thirst for their ink dregs. As for the quill, there was no need to kill. The feather lay still on the ground, but the cutting and shaving required great skill, and art in mouse users infrequently found. So that's what I found. It's better with a mouse than have to go out and have a quill and make your ink. So even though ghastly, and I won't want to get another wireless one, I have a million other issues, but that's just one. Anyhow, I'll finish with a very light one, which lots of places have had it, but it always seems apt to me now. And it's called High Command, Calling, Looping the Loop. High Command, calling, loud. It still has a place on the map, but it's not worth our hanging around to ambush and trap. Our great-granddads have been here before. Listen, troop, did you know past a century ago they sailed here? But we're in a Boeing jet, looping a loop. Not for us any transport that's so slow. They were called a Spanish flu, just not true, with extended family in China, Kansas and Peru. It's lush here, warm and green, but there's scattering or running about in the dark. The old scout hut's still there, somewhat lonely and bare. The art school and Regal are both levels to the ground, leaving no smidgen of the iconic 30s style to be found. Won't bother us. We're not into pay. Be proud of yourselves. You're a first-class surveillance battalion. You deserve Boris Johnson's free for one and all experts medallion. Remember, squad, you are each a star. Not on par with, but the puny, oft incompetent freak bacteria. We are strong, each a potent, acidic, ribonucleic spike. We don't do the twist like the double helix, we just strike. No vaccine or plan B exists to eradicate us, or has yet to rear. We'll regroup, legionnaires, and return to instill some more fear. Of course we'll retreat, but you'll know just when we reappear. No virologist has had any idea yet to cause us to disappear. Wheel down arms, front calling, loud and clear. Can you hear? So that's it about the vaccines. There's always one waiting in the background.
Thank you, Lorraine. Again, it's worth listening on YouTube because there are big transmission and sound issues, which is such a shame because it takes away from the poems.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's
You
not
seem
your
to have
fault.
it
If
more
you have
than-
a listen, it's to do with the technology, I think. So,
Your internet connection is unstable. My internet connection.
yeah.
Well, I'm going now, and I'll see if I'll try and alter the settings. But Anne Stewart at the poetry thing usually says it's okay by now, but I'll test it even more. I don't need the whole thing, but I can't do it till after.
The last time you did it, it was good, but this time it's gone. It is problematic.
Even
but it'd be
worse.
worth checking it out. Okay, right.
Maybe because
Ted.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm going now. Yeah, thanks. Bye bye.
Okay, thanks, Lorraine. Ted, are you with us, Ted?
Thank you.
Thanks, Lorraine.
Yeah.
Ted, you're muted.
Can
Oh,
you
you're not.
hear me?
You're muted now. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole program disappeared.
All right, you're back on now. Anyway.
Okay, darling. Yeah, that was nice, that Lorraine. Thank you. Right, do you want a bit of fishing heritage?
Oh, I love Fishing Heritage. One of your best poems.
Good. Am I sufficiently clear?
Very clear, thank you.
Okay, sir, thanks. Here we go. Let's hit it, baby. It was a journey into unknown lives of fishermen trawling the sea, Men with big hands gnarled, pulling in nets, screaming with freezing water, and tons of fish, or worse, none. Men living in steel rooms with doors riveted with bolts to hold back the sea, all crisscross painted and covered in grime, overpainted and covered in more grime. The forecastle where the lucky bunk backing the galley, where scalded cook and a boy load bread slabs and tea onto plates boxed in for the toss. The engine vibration glistens the grease and the meals, and everything is tainted with fish. From a dungeon, slim stokers feed coal boilers. The ashman, roasted and frozen all day, crashes his bucket overboard, heaving the strain on his chain, and the sparks eavesdrops on codes, discovering who's on the fish, spying for low pay and retainers, and sharing the company's profits. Good work on a fine day, gutting fish and needling repairs to nets, but in widow's weather, where the black frost hangs higher than the masthead, shrouding like Neptune's hair, frostbite cuts deep into blue hands and feet and faces. Axes clatter the bulkhead, chopping down ice, and men's blood runs free with assault as they slither and grab to work. Days without sleep bleed into weeks without time. Fish is paid with men's lives, and you don't ask its price, quayside. When wives weather watch, waiting, all dreading the rap on the door, the port missioner a shoulder to cry on. His news of a deep unknown grave and a future frozen at zero.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah.
Something a bit lighter?
You can cheer us up a bit now, Ted. Beautiful poem, but you can cheer us up with another one, please.
Yeah, oh, here we go. Totally different. Two little love poems from Walking Out Backwards Saying Hello. This is called Nocturne. I never heard you enter. Have you been here long? Your face, it looks so cold. Reaching into nighttime to touch your pallid cheek, I see your image dissolve. But your perfume lingers. The next one is Leo Sayer, who once was a singer. Alone in his room with pastel curtains for company, the walls cushion the beat of Leo Sayer. The pine bureau doesn't mind, nor do the books it holds. The mood changes, and he with it keeps him wondering, listening. Woolens chiaroscuro drifting their colours into the room. Bookwork done, figures are. They're complete. He'll wake, clear mind, electric back and cold, silhouetting through stained glasses, confessing to white paper. Till then, he'll watch the flower blow its saxophone, think of nothing, just listen to Leo. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you for listening to those little poems.
I was very moved with Nocturne. It had a kind of spiritual quality about it, Ted. It was very moving. Lovely poem, that. They're all nice poems, but Nocturne particularly.
Yes.
I like.
Thank you kindly. I haven't read those since 1402, I think it is.
Right, okay.
Let's hear someone nice now.
Very good. Now, who have we got left? We have Peter, I think.
Young Peter, isn't it? Young Peter.
Yes.
Right, I'm carrying on with my old anti-Valentine poems.
Very good.
Against the hothouse high-grimed glass, a trapped thrush is beating. I crumb the remains of picnic sandwiches and cake, enough to wind a clue through this contained tropic to a door which could be opened, and wait, watching carp turn and flick away across a pool, and where water spurts from a broken tap fragment, fractured shapes. I could find here geometry which would describe our life together. The thrush beats on, will not be tempted down from such thin mist, beats on, a muffled drum. And I saved the mug you gave me when we loved and lived together, a recipe for love framed by hearts, a transfer print in red and white on blue. I saved the mug you gave me before you transferred your love to another mug, for a hot toddy when I have the flu, and as I drink alone in this big bed, I think how much worse things could be with you. I saved the mug you gave me to remind me of better times, shivering, sneezing now, and drink my health.
A lot of us love that one, Peter. That sticks in the mind, the cracked mug.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have you any more? Is that?
That's it.
Okay. I've got 3 fairly short poems. One thing, probably Alan will be aware of this, and Lorraine also, but she's gone now. We were challenged to write a poem about the ruddy duck. Now, the ruddy duck is an actual duck, and it's an invader from the USA, and it's being shot out of the sky because it's miscegenations going on with our own breeds. So the ruddy duck likes to breed all through the year, and everyone would end up as a ruddy duck. Not you and I, but many sorts of ducks would. Anyway, it's called That Ruddy Duck. Mind the ruddy duck indeed. It went to Spain and spread its seed, despoiling the rare white-headed duck. Because white-headed ducks are so rare, Spaniards don't admire this rapacious buck. Hence they shoot the ruddy duck out of the air. Life's hard enough for a ruddy duck. Its colours are a palette that runs amok. Bright blue beak, black cap, white cheek, chestnut belly and a tail not neat, sticking up like a strange quill pen on the cock and on the hen. We also abhor this US bird, not amused, it's so absurd. They're culled here too for the same reason, that for them it's always breeding season. So you might think it's very hard luck if you were born a ruddy duck. And that's the ruddy duck. True, all that.
We give a duck. We give a duck.
I Googled it. Now, this next one I'm going to blame on Mohammed, because Mohammed has stirred up a lot a lot of song titles in my head, but I did deviate from the original lyrics. Anyway, it's called How I Long for Yesterday. Okay. Yes. Okay, here we go. Yesterday, I'm going to get you to sing this later on as well. Yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far away. When I got by on my take-home pay, oh, how I long for yesterday. The factory gates are staying closed. Our union leaders are deposed. The lies of better times exposed. The boss's whims were unopposed. The fat cats lapped up all the cream. Acid stripped my right to dream. I've no more vigor, no head of steam, not to say my self-esteem. The curtain closes, the end of the play, a cast of cast-offs, cast away. All I can do now is kneel and pray. Oh, how I long for yesterday. There you go. A post-industrial.
Yesterday, I just long now to kneel and pray. I don't know what else to say.
We'll do the original together, okay? Yeah. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away.
Troubles seem so far away.
Now it looks as though they're here to stay.
Oh, I believe
in yesterday.
Suddenly,
I'm not half
I'm not half
the
the
man
man I used to be.
be. There's a shadow
There's a
hanging
shadow
over me.
hanging over me.
Oh,
Oh, yesterday
yesterday came
came
suddenly.
suddenly.
Why
Why
she
she
had to go, I don't
had
know.
to go, I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
She
She would.
wouldn't say. I said
I
"There's
said something
something
wrong, and
wrong.
I
Now I
long
long
for
for
yesterday.
yesterday. Love
Love
was
was such
such
an
an
easy
easy
game to
game to
play.
play.
Now
Now
I
I
need a
need a
place
place
to
to
hide
hide away.
away.
Oh,
Oh,
I
I believe
believe in yesterday.
yesterday.
Well, that was a very hard sinking, horrible singing and hard sinking. Anyway, last one is Locked Out in Shadow. Locked Out in Shadow. A silhouette on a brick wall cast by the shadow of winter sunlight of one we chose to ostracize, shunned and banished from our sight, along pavements and puddles, where the iridescent sheen of petrol is the only rainbow in a parallel life lived in dull coat and sodden bedroll. Far from each penthouse capsule, des res all the way to Westminster Pier, where bubbles predate infection, stopping what they fear from coming near. Do not open your eyes nor your mind, for you may not like what you will find. There we go. Boom, boom. Okay. We can all unmute now, so have a general chat. A small select gathering tonight.